Good day to you all. Today I would like to speak about the poem The Earthen Goblet by Harindranath Chattopadyay. The poem The Earthen Goblet has been woven around a conversation between the narrator and the personified goblet. The narrator wishes to find what the goblet felt when it was being molded and shaped by the potter on the potter's wheel, given an identity and sent out to the world. And goblet refers to the trauma caused by molding. It wishes to regain its natural state. uh, the first stanza, the narrator addresses the goblet with a kind, sympathetic, and exclamation, "Oh, silent goblet." He has given the human attributes to the goblet. Through this, the narrator has given the life to the element, natural element, and feeling and emotions like us. And then he mentions his complexion of the goblet that is found in red from top to bottom. He asked kindly how it felt when it's being molded on the potter's wheel. Here, the poet seems to be highly attracted to the goblet, and he has a longing to know the inner feelings of the goblet. In the second stanza, the then couplet answers to the narrator's question. It says about its feeling when it's being mounted on the potter's wheel by the potter's hand. I felt a conscious impulse in my clay. The consciousness of the couplet suggests that it actually comes to the life. That is not a figment, and the word impulse indicates its deep thought that it must to do something. This really creates a sympathy towards the couplet. This thought urge is to escape from the potter's wheel. It is mentioned by to break away from the great potter's hand. The isolation of the phrase "to break away" adds emphasis to the non-acceptance of the goblet towards the change done by the potter. And the potter's hand is described by the couplet as hand that burned so warm. Through this, the couplet indirectly indicates its hate on the potter. The couplet further says its physical pain it underwent on the potter's wheel. I felt a vast feeling of sorrow to be cast into my present form. Here, I felt has been used as a repetition, and it indicates the desperate necessity of the couplet to express his emotional agony to the outside world. The enjambment in the line extended to the end of the stanza, adding emphasis to the necessity of the couplet to rapidly express his reproach. It I felt vast feeling of sorrow. Another very important fact about the couplet is that even though it is given a voice, the couplet thinks that it is nothing unique being the couplet. Its natural state and its uniqueness is being that unshapely earth has been transformed into a mold. It is no longer has its personality. It's no longer had its previous character, and the couplet grieves this massive lot of identity. Imagine how the people are forced to go through so many changes just to conform or survive in the society. This demand changes their principles and sometimes their beliefs, changes their identity. Some people have to part with their religion, community, rituals, and the things to do with their culture. Under the colonizers, the local people had to surrender many of their cultural elements and practices. Sometimes they even had to stop using their own language. These tragic changes will cause the couplet to feel this overwhelming sense of loss. mm, and sorrow. So it wishes to its past form, not the present form. Before the fatal hour, there was me captive on the potter's wheel and cast into his crimson couplet, sleep. He also, in the first three lines, the couplet says, regains its mental and physical pain, sorrow about the present state. By means Patalava, it indicates the time of the period in which it was being transformed into the form of the couplet, and that can be the death of it. Through this, it emphasizes that it really hates the present form, the couplet. The feeling that it is the death for it. The narrator also mentions to say that the narrator also intends to say that the nature never likes the human interference on them, and violence and domination will create suffer and pain. In second line, the cobbler expresses it helpless state with severe pain. It is unable to do anything against the potters, and it is a prisoner on the potter's wheel. And the last three lines of this stanza, it is the nostalgia of the goblet that causes sympathy towards the goblet. It mentions its memorable and beautiful life before it is a captive on the potter's wheel. The couplet remembers how it is enjoyed as a life member of the family of nature. A family of nature. It is used to feel the sweet, pleasant friendship. A little flower. The little flower was deeply rooted in his deep bottom of heart. It indicates the freedom of the nature. Now the goblet feels very lonely and extreme sad without such relationship. The goblet, the little flower and its past life of the goblet are personified as the bosom friendship. But the present life of the goblet is death for it. It has no its fertility, wealth, and pleasant life. In the first stanza, couplet expresses his deep sorrow that the potter has taken its life of it, that its past unshaped clay is the breath. Now he has given the name goblet that can be the death of it. The poet says indirectly that the changes or transformed done by the violence and domination cannot be happy and peaceful. The force we apply on nature or other living creature for our benefits will never give a good result anymore. With just one flower flaming through my breast. This line is the enjoyment of the previous stanza, which extends the idea of the previous line to this. The conclusion suggests that having a relationship with one flower is best, while figuratively suggesting that the relationship is no longer monogamy. Flower flaming is figuratively associated with the relationship of the couplet. Uh, Now we will see the techniques of this poem. The first technique is personification. The writer uses personification to give human attributes such as emotions and behavior to non-human things and animals. The main objective of using personification is to grab the reader's attention as well as their emotion support. It boosts the reader's emotion and sensitivity. According to this poem, the couplet expresses deep sorrow, and it has been transformed from the natural state and of clay into the artificial form of goblet. As the poetess lets the goblet to speak, giving life, the readers can easily understand the pain of the nature and unfavorable interference on nature. That is for the poet to allow the victim to say its pain. It is a great job using detective. The next the literary devices is rhyming words. The uses of rhyming words with enjambment beautifies the lines and it gives the melodious effect to the poem. For example, I felt a vast is an rhyming word. Next technique is visual imagery. Here, visual imagery plays an important role because clay is a natural form which is lacked by the goblet, and the earthen goblet is an artificial form that attracts the eyes and mind of the human. But we don't realize the pain and sorrow behind the beauty. Here, the poet has emphasized that all we view with our eyes are not true always. The clay form that we don't like is the breath of the goblet, but the form of the goblet that we like is the death of the goblet. The next technique is flashback. This technique has been used by I used to feel. The goblet remains its past pleasurable life and compares the present life that is the death of it. It expresses it with a broken heart and criticizes the potter who can be the representative of human being. It further indicates how much the human is ignorant, selfish, and cruel. Uh, Next technique is nostalgia. It calls homesick. It refers to the need or longing for the past. In this life, the goblet remembers and is found to the as a figments one. The sweet thoughts are the sweet thoughts that are in the deep bottom of heart of it keep the couplet alive now. The thoughts are the only indiscriminately thing to it. The relationship with the flower plant has been found as the one which mixed with his soul. Now we will see the themes of this poem, the importance of naturalism and freedom. Every living being has unique nature. They are created the natural earth purposely. We cannot realize the truth and secret behind it. But according to the human being, he thinks to make all belongs to him. He uses his violence and domination on them. This has resulted great suffering to us in various forms such as drought, flood, climate changes, and scarcity. And next theme is molding and changing and its effects. And the next theme is interference human on nature. Human has no interference on nature because it is unique and it remains its natural form. Uh, Thank you for hearing me.